The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Kyle, you and I, we hit the 30 years old mark last year. Do we still have any, untapped potential?
Damn, that's a great question, man. For real. You know what? Maybe, because we've never done this, and that's watch playoff hockey in April. You get what I'm saying? And that's such a big part of our lives. Playoff hockey in April, and now we're 30, now we're adults. Bro, I haven't even watched a playoff game at a bar yet. Isn't that something else? The sky is the limit, especially here on Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, Canucks writer for Daily Hive Vancouver, and also a co-host here on Locked On Canucks. Before we dive into today's Hump Day episode, we want to thank you for tuning in to Locked On Canucks. It is your Canucks every damn day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. And guess what? If you haven't done so already, make sure you go subscribe or follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, got to let you know that a couple more days left, but we're giving 2 tickets away to Canucks and Kings next Monday, March 25th. If you want to enter the contest to win 2 tickets, all you got to do is 2 things. Plain and easy, baby, okay? First, you got to either subscribe to the YouTube channel or leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to podcasts. The second thing you got to do is subscribe to the Discord. Link is in the bio of this very episode, okay? And before we crack it open here, I also got to let you know today's episode brought to you by Gametime. Download that Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. From the time he joined the Vancouver Canucks, heck, from the time he was drafted, before that, from when he was a prospect, we knew that Quinn Hughes was going to be a star in this market. And hey, Kyle, on our first iteration of talking hockey together over podcast video mediums, I told you, man, Quinn Hughes got to be a Vancouver Canuck. And look at this. Not only is he a Vancouver Canuck, not only is he the captain, but he might just be having the best season that we've ever seen from a Vancouver Canucks player. We're going to talk a little bit about that in segment 1 and the untapped potential left in Quinn Hughes as he gets to play in front of the fans at Rogers Arena for the first time in the postseason. Also want to touch on the power play, which is buzzing again last night, but talking at some comments that were interesting in terms of Kyle complaining about Miller not being on the half wall. Legitimate complaints. I shouldn't call it a complaint, but that's what we do here on Locked On Canucks. We'll also maybe talk about the most fun Canucks on the team, and likely Kyle will wrap up the show as I gotta bounce early to feed my family. But before we get into all that, again, let me introduce my co-host, someone who is he's probably even more muscular than Quinn Hughes, to be honest, but obviously lacking in other areas. Kyle Bound, how's it going, buddy?
No, Quinn Hughes is definitely way muscular than me, man. Come on, man. He lives at the gym, dude. You saw it yesterday. This guy's the next Scott Stevens. Do the math, okay? Scott Stevens gets into the NHL. What does Scott Stevens do? He's a little physical, but he puts up a lot of points. Then boom, bam. He knows he has to, change it up. He needs to win cups. And what does he do? He becomes a physical beast, one of the hardest hitters in hockey, a.k.a. I think it's something that Quinn Hughes is taking note of, okay? You saw what happened yesterday? Bro, that made me want to do some push-ups, bro. And it may have been an outlier situation, or it may have been Quinn Hughes knowing that April is coming and the physicality needs to ramp up. And what we saw yesterday was just that, okay? The untapped evolution of Quinn Hughes, we got a tease of it yesterday. Hey, speaking of a tease, okay, look at Mr. Whale, okay? One of the best fans on the program, part of the Discord again. We're giving away 2 tickets to a Canucks game. We're giving them away on Friday for the game on the 25th, which is the Monday. Hit the link in the bio. Join the conversation. Mr. Whale, always talking in there. And Mr. Whale turning 30 tomorrow, man. So let's give the guy some advice, man, because I know this is a Canucks program, but it's a people program too. You know what I'm saying? We take care of our neighbors. And, bro, I'm telling you, I've been only 30 for 10 months, but there is a difference, man. Something happens in your biological clock. For real. There is a difference. Do you want to give some advice to Mr. Whale before we, just love Quinn Hughes some more?
I think it's just a happy early birthday, Mr. Whale. You're as old as you feel, but to Kyle's point, I threw up my back like 12 days after turning 30, and it's the first time I'd ever done that in my life. So there is some truth to that, but get some sleep, enjoy some fresh air, eat healthy, and hey, maybe you'll live to be 155 years old.
Yeah, there you go. And go for walks, man. Go for walks, tap in with Mother Nature. tap in with some Deepak Chopra. Yo, Quinn Hughes, man, there's a 50% chance that this guy listens to a ton of Deepak Chopra, okay? A stoic. He's never up, nor is he down. You know what I'm saying? He's just right in the middle. He's gearing up for what matters. He's not getting too excited. For real, this guy's possibly putting up the greatest season in Vancouver Canucks history, okay? Think about it. Really think about it. He's a defenseman. He's doing all that on a really good team. And again, he's so even keel. A big fan of Deepak Chopra. I made the joke that he's a big fan of Scott Stevens. Man, oh man, all I'm saying is I do believe there's another level to Quinn Hughes' game physically. I'm not saying that this guy's going to be, again, nailing everybody, being the most physical guy on the ice. I'm just saying that at 30 minutes a game in the playoffs, when the games matter, there's going to be a meaner side to Quinn Hughes. Because that guy, like Deepak Chopra, he's in love with winning.
I think here's the thing to consider with Quinn Hughes and the physical aspect of his game. Obviously, he's smaller in terms of NHL defenseman, but guess what? A lot of players on the NHL are smaller as well. This isn't quite a big man's game anymore. And there is opportunities for guys like Quinn Hughes to go out and lay the body on guys who are of similar size, right? And, we kind of had that oblique moment with Pettersson in the playoffs in 2020, like laid out Ryan Hartman, started to throw the body around into the scenarios. By the way, Pettersson's on pace for over 100 hits this season. That's something else to consider, man. That's some crazy stuff right there. Quinn Hughes, I think he's got now 24 hits on the season, so maybe not quite to chuck in the body like tough guy Elias Pettersson, but I think I agree with you, Kyle. There's a place for more opportunity for Quinn Hughes to be more physical in the playoffs, and if
or
2020 is any precursor.
Just be mean. Just be mean. Sorry to cut you off. You cut off just a little for me. But just be a little bit more mean. Anyways, Trevor, take it away.
Yeah. I think, again, when I go back to the 2020 playoffs, against the Blues in those playoffs, he didn't have to be physical. He was so good at escaping checks, which said a lot to be against the Blues team that was pretty big and physical. Against Vegas, I think Quinn Hughes got worked over a little bit more. So, again, that was 4 years ago. Quinn Hughes has evolved since then. He's evolved a lot as a hockey player. And I do think there's some untapped potential for Quinn Hughes entering the playoffs. I think we're going to see the best from this guy. And not to go on another tangent here, but, I said earlier in the season, talking about his untapped potential, that this guy had the ability to hit 100 points. Well, Kyle, I think you mentioned it in a call before this show, but if the Canucks power play didn't absolutely suck from like November onwards, this guy would have hit 100 points easy, which is also kind of disappointing. Yeah,
the Canucks, again, look at the numbers. In October and November, they're great on the power play. They're historic on the power play to some extent. Then post-November, they quickly went to mediocre. And then in February and March, they went downright horrible. And if that's not the case and they're just good, Quinn Hughes is putting up 100 points guaranteed. Now he has 13 games to get 21 points. Not impossible. The power play really needs to get going. But all in all, I don't know if he necessarily needs to get 100 points to, again, give credit to that statement I just had a couple of minutes ago. Quinn Hughes quietly having the greatest season in Vancouver Canucks history. Henrik Sedin, 110, 111, 112 points. What's the number?
Yep.
112 points, right? What's more impressive, that or Quinn Hughes at 94 points as a defenseman in a season that wasn't supposed to happen? All in all, though, okay, go. I'll let you ramble on because I don't want to talk too much about the regular season in regards to this untapped evolution of Quinn Hughes. But what are your takes on that? Is that too strong of a statement? Am I just recency bias based on his performance last night?
No, I don't think it's recency bias. I think it's a legitimate toss-up, right? And again, it's not just the fact that this guy is, may score 20 goals and put up 100 points or something in that ballpark, even in the 90-point range. I mean, it's just his overall game is so impressive, right? And we saw it last night where, Quinn Hughes, when he was on the ice, the Canucks were out chanting Buffalo, I don't know what it was, 16-3 or something like that. And we saw it all through the month of March too. Like, you're arguably seeing the best version of Quinn Hughes right now. And I know no one was, a lot of players had their off moments in Colorado and Washington, but overall this month on the whole, Quinn Hughes has been so dominant and maybe making a sneaky run for MVP of the NHL, especially if he can hit the 100-point mark over the next couple of games here. I'm not saying it's probable. I'm just saying it's possible. Okay. But like you said, regular season doesn't really matter that much. I think it's on what he's doing right now is on par with what Henrik did in 2010, 2011. That was 2009, 2010. But the playoffs is going to be what matters. And I do think that again, we've seen this overall evolution of his game. I think we've seen the best version of Quinn Hughes here in March, and I think you're going to see the best version of Quinn Hughes continue on into the playoffs in April, May, and June.
100%. And reminder, Canucks fans, reminder, we've never had somebody on our team like this who was going to be able to play 30-plus minutes a game minus overtime in the playoffs when it really matters. And you know what? Rick Tocchet is the head coach of this team. Adam Foote is right there too. They know the deal, okay? They know that's how you get it done. How real good teams get it done. When you have one of the best players in the league who happens to play defense playing half the game. Who does the advantage go to then? On most nights. Bro. And think about this, Canucks fans, okay? Let's just go there because I'm feeling like a man again. Okay, I got 9 hours of sleep. Mr. Whale, happy birthday again. Bro, Trevor Beggs has been warning me about this. Get that sleep. And if you don't get your sleep in your 30s, something's going to happen. You're going to feel off your game. I'm feeling like myself again, okay? And it brings me to this point. I definitely want to see Quinn Hughes face Connor McDavid in round 2 of the playoffs.
Yeah,
that
100%.
And I want to see Quinn Hughes take that mean level, that POS level, to another level. Because again, I know it's surprising to look at Quinn Hughes and watch him play over 300 games and come to this weird conclusion that like, oh, he's going to be more of a POS and he's going to be more mean. He's going to play tough, blah, blah, blah. Like, what are you talking about, Kyle? Chill out. He made one hit against Buffalo. Slow down. Again, it goes to the reasoning behind what makes Quinn Hughes so magical and exceptional. He cares about winning. And when you want something that bad, something changes.
What I want to see from Quinn Hughes in the playoffs is if he can have a Cale Makar-like impact. The type of postseason that we're talking about is being legendary. The type of postseason where maybe he's in the Conn Smythe conversation. And
this might be a great. Should we make the t-shirts? Joe, should I design the t-shirt today? Or is that a jinx? Is that a jinx? Is that like touching the cup before you win it? Quinn for the Conn Smythe? I feel like that could be like a shirt. Like I want them to win this year, but I'm saying if we make the Quinn for the Conn Smythe t-shirt, you could rock that shirt for a long time because that's what we're hoping for, right? Straight up. If the Canucks ever win the Stanley Cup, there's a 95% chance that Quinn Hughes is the Conn Smythe winner.
Yeah. Well, here's my rule on that. If they win around, we can start making the shirts, okay?
Okay. Whoa.
But okay, I want to make this one point quick, and then we'll get to break, talk about power play on the other side. I know the 2020 playoffs, it didn't matter to a lot of people, but they mattered on the stat sheet, right? And, when you look at what he did in the 2019-20 playoffs, 16 points in 17 games, that 0.94 points per game is 7th all time among defensemen who have played at least 10 games in the NHL playoffs.
In NHL history?
You look at some in NHL history.
That was a rookie.
And that was rookie Quinn Hughes, exactly. Right. So
playing against big teams. Like he wasn't playing. He wasn't just playing against Minnesota. Like I know he played against Minnesota, but you know what I'm saying? Like it was St. Louis and Vegas. It's impressive, man.
Yeah, 100%. And I know we're in a different era where defensemen are scoring more, but Quinn Hughes is also just a different animal, right? And you got one guy in here, Joe Micheletti, who had 12 points in 11 games, and we never heard of him again. But the other names on the list include Bobby Orr, Cale Makar, Adam Fox, Brian Leetch, and Paul Coffey. Those are the other names ahead of Quinn Hughes in terms of points per game among NHL defensemen in the playoffs. Quinn Hughes has 1.14 points per game this season. I'm expecting this guy to be a point per game player in the playoffs and have one of the best postseasons that we've seen in NHL history. That's the bar for this guy, and I think he can do it. I also think that the power play can wake up a bit come playoff time, and it's going to need to if they're going to go on a long run. So let's talk a bit about the power play on the other side, including Tocchet's comments about why JT Miller hasn't been on the half wall. Before we get to that, we got to shout out one of our beloved sponsors. Right now, I'm shouting out our friends at eBay Motors. All right, you know the deal, baby. It's passion, it's drive, and it's patience. That's what brings home the winning trophy, and it's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors is everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts to choose from for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're a bird in rubber, not cash, baby. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP. Call it Quinn Hughes, baby, and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, excluding supply, eBay guarantee fit, only available to U.S. customers.
Boom, bam, man. Shout out to eBay Motors, man. Doing a lot for Locked On Canucks.
Man, we're going to have a lot of fun tonight in Vancouver, all my real fans.
Okay. We back talking about Quinn Hughes and your Vancouver Canucks and talking about life and talking about becoming 30 years old and talking about giving away Canucks tickets, okay? Our first giveaway, it's a learning curve. We're doing it. I hope the raffle goes right, man. I've never done a raffle before. Or like this random number thing, It's going to be fun. Friday, we're giving away 2 tickets. How do you get those 2 tickets? Subscribe to the channel and subscribe to the Discord, okay? The Discord link is in the bio below. Let's have some fun talking about the Canucks while you're taking a number 2. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of number 2, bro, it shouldn't be ever a second option to not have JT Miller on the left half wall alongside Quinn Hughes, okay, on the power play. And yesterday we saw that finally. Well, we kind of saw that against Washington too, but we barely saw the power play. Anyways, we saw the flow, the fun get back on that 5-man unit. And it had everything. I'm going to say everything to do with JT Miller playing back at his elite spot on the power play. Again, the left side of the power play with his buddy Quinn Hughes. Everything was moving and grooving. And the Canucks power play has to get going in order for this team to go far in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think the 2 things that worked well yesterday was, Miller back on the half wall first and foremost, but there was movement that was successful as well. Miller was on the half wall, but when Pettersson scored that goal, it was Miller going up to the point, getting the puck through from the point, and then Pettersson cleaning up on the rebound, right? So it's a combination of the 2 things, but we need to see more success from the power play because it's been abysmal. It's been one of the worst power plays in the league for a couple months now, and it's been mediocre since a hot stretch at the beginning of the season. Now, Kyle, I kind of wanted your take on this because I found Talkett's comments interesting when he touched on why Miller hasn't been on the half wall. He basically said that the reason Miller hasn't been on the half wall as much is because when penalty kill formations are at a diamond, it's harder for Miller to get those opportunities. Which
blah blah blah.
Strategy theoretically to me it makes sense, but I know you have an issue with the.
Of course I do, man. And again, when I say the left half wall, I'm just talking about JT Miller being on the left side of the power play. Okay, let him do whatever he wants. Just have him on that side because that guy's a quarterback from the side, and then you have another quarterback with Quinn Hughes at the top. It's just weird. Those 2 together are deciphering everything on the power play. Okay, they really are. And when you have the X factor in Pettersson demanding a lot of attention, you see what Miller can do with his shot and his playmaking ability. Like Brock Besser could have had 8 goals yesterday. Pius Suter could have had 8 goals yesterday. For real. You just got to stay there forever, man. Again, I don't watch other teams play a lot, if not at any times, because I am home of the West Coast bias, for real. I only got time for Vancouver Canucks hockey games. But I'm pretty sure if Edmonton is going 1 for 20 on the power play, they're not desperately moving Leon Draisaitl from that spot where he dominates, on the right side. Ovechkin, I'm pretty sure the Capitals power play wasn't scoring every game, but there he was, being a staple on that side of the ice. You get what I'm saying, bro? I feel as if the Canucks are ever in a position where their power play is once again struggling, the last thing they should do is take away the best part of the power play. And I get that the movement is one of the things that kind of made Talkett think about switching things up and ultimately, doing so and staying there for a long time. But I would ask the other 3 to move around and not JT Miller and Quinn Hughes. Bro, it's one of those things. I gotta ask for an honest answer here. I think when you and I think about the Canucks going to June this year, or at any point of this core's tenure, you kind of see this team having a top 5 power play. You get what I'm saying? Because when that's firing with those players, it's deadly, it's iconic, it's something that wins you a series. And you're looking at a team that doesn't have a lot of experience. You kind of need all those other things to go your way right now for this magical run to really be fulfilled.
Yeah, well, I think you make some good points there. And I still believe in this Canucks power play to figure it out. And I
Mhm.
think you kind of alluded to it, right? Every good power play goes through its struggles, but it's not, making that knee jerk reaction and panicking and making a drastic change. And it seemed like the Canucks were just kind of, again, mentioned this yesterday about Elias Lindholm, but the old throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks mentality, right? And it just nothing seems to be working on that power play. So it's prudent to just go with what works, which is Hughes at the point, Miller at the left side half wall, and Pettersson on the right side doing his thing. Mix in some movement there, but each guy has their spot in terms of where they succeeded the most on the power play. And then down low, I mean, we talked a bit about lines yesterday. If you want to go check it out, go check it out. Okay, it was a good debate until Kyle and I, started agreeing on stuff. But when we talk about power play, and one of the flaws of the power play right now, I think, is that there's just been some issues down low in terms of when the puck gets at the net or below the goal line. Besser and whoever else has been down there hasn't been able to cycle it back up effectively necessarily. And you look at the second power play unit as well, and they barely scored. That's an issue too. I know Kyle, the Athletic, did a deep dive on it, and teams like Dallas and Carolina, who their first units, been on par with what the Canucks have done, not great. They have second units that have scored 10 plus power play goals this season. The Canucks haven't scored a second unit power play goal since November. And part of the reason is they don't have a sniper on that unit. So
Lindholm, they don't have a sniper. They got Lindholm there, former 40-goal scorer. Dude, I don't care about the second power play unit, man. I don't give a beep.
Yeah.
That being said,
but you say that, but if the first power play unit's not going, at least good teams like Carolina and Dallas have a second unit that's coming in, stepping up, and scoring goals.
Yeah. Okay, speaking of which, I brought up Lindholm's name before we get to the third break, and we'll end off the show with just comments because Trevor's got to go. Talk about this, okay? I know Lindholm played a pretty good game yesterday. Generated a lot of chances 5-on-5, considering who he played with. That's an accomplishment, okay? Let's be honest. Let's be real. Didn't look so good against that first Buffalo goal. Nonetheless, a good game, but no points. No points. And we saw Pew Suter generate a couple chances, a couple shots, right, on that power play. What if that's Lindholm? Are those shots going in? I don't know. All in all, though, when are we going to see Lindholm get back on the first unit? Because don't you think he can do whatever Suter's doing, plus have a heavier shot, be more clinical with the shot?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be long, to be honest, because it just seems like a revolving door, whether it's Hirona got some time there and Suter got some time there. It's just like, it's a revolving door. Now, I'll tell you what I want to see before I get out of here. I'd like to see Höglander at the top unit, because I think that's a guy who does a lot of his best work right outside the crease. I think that's a guy who can win battles in the quarter when the puck gets below the net on the power play, and who can clean up rebounds and whatever else it is. So I want to see Höglander on PP1, and I think PP2 lacks a shot, and Lindholm does have a good shot when he gets into the sticky spaces. Another guy that has a good shot, and a guy that's played a lot of power play this season, albeit in Abbotsford, is Podkolzin. And Podkolzin has scored, I don't know the numbers, but I want to say around half his goals this season from the top of the hash marks on PP2. So I like to see Höglander. I'd like to see Höglander on PP1 and Lindholm, Podkolzin, Garland, Hronik, and throw whatever fifth guy, McKinnon, Suter, whatever on PP2.
I feel like you'd much rather see even Podkolzin on, getting more PP time, maybe even with the big boys, than Lindholm, man. Are you done with the whole Lindholm thing? Are you done with it already, man? Well, you know what? Tomorrow when you're back, let's talk about what you want from Lindholm the rest of the way, okay? I think that'd be a cool episode. Yeah. Okay, let's be reasonable, but I think there has to be a number and the floor has to be raised. Anyways, read the second ad break. Trevor's going to leave, and then we'll continue on this episode of Locked On Canucks. One love to you and you and you and you. Hit the like button and the subscribe button. And Trevor, who we shouting out?
All right, one love to everybody listening. Love you all. We're nothing without you guys here on Locked On Canucks. I'll catch you on tomorrow's episode. You're in good hands with Kyle. Before Kyle wraps up the show with your comments, we got to shout out our friends over at Gametime.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right, you know me, Begsy. I'm a big last minute deals guy, and I found that the best place for killer deals at the last minute is Gametime. Gametime, they got my back. I get these emails from Nicole at Gametime, and she's always teasing me with concerts and events this week in my area. Not only are those weekly emails a tease, but Gametime also has a lowest price guarantee along with event protection cancellation in case who knows what happens, man. Who knows? Mm-hmm. And if you want to get those Canucks tickets, again, go to Gametime because they got the lowest price guarantee, baby. Okay, they got you covered. And if you don't know it's the Canucks, you can get tickets for things like football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Okay. Game Time, they got it all for you. All right. So make sure that you go to Game Time to get your next set of tickets. Go download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Locked On for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
Okay, we back on Locked On Canucks talking about your Vancouver Canucks because this is what we do every day. It's the culture, man. Shout out to the Locked On Podcast Network doing their thing. Shout out to our sponsors, but more importantly, shout out to you and you and you and you and you and you and the Don't Doze Art Lab for making this all possible. Look, over here on the West Coast, the best coast of Canada, the Don't Doze Art Lab continues to look after its neighbors because how are we going to look after the world if we're not even looking after our neighbors? Think about that. Now, let's get to the comments, okay? Have some fun before we get out of here. A reminder that we are giving away 2 Canucks tickets. We're giving them away on Friday, and it's for the game on Monday against the Kings. Join the Discord, link in the bio, qualify for the contest, okay? Let's get to the comments, okay? Japan, DJ Kyle in the house. Bow chicka chicka wow wow. Chicka chicka. Is that the noises you make? Yo, DJing is a lot of fun. DJing after a Canucks loss is not fun, to be honest, because I'm emotional. Speaking of which, Richard Hepner chirping me, okay, has Kyle done his daily crying yet? Look, I know. Again, for the second time, I'm emotional, especially when I'm not sleeping a lot, and especially when the Canucks are losing to the Washington Capitals on a Saturday night after blowing a 3-0 lead. Look, I know the last couple of days I've been irrational. And I want to apologize, and I will apologize. But, man, I love this team. And I'm expecting a lot from this team. And really, it's not about, winning every game. It's about, the effort, The effort, the execution. Sometimes you get goalie, blah, blah, blah. But after a 3-0 loss to Colorado, not a 3-0 loss, but blowing a 3-0 lead last week against Colorado, that effort again against the Capitals just wasn't good enough. And there I was yesterday doing what? Complaining a lot, man. Listen to yesterday's episode. I could hear it in my voice. I sounded annoying because I was annoyed at the Vancouver Canucks. Now look at Infamous, okay? Me growing a playoff beard well ahead of schedule. Dude, again, I've never watched a Canucks game at the bar. Do the math. I've never had a beard or a half beard like I have right now while the Canucks were in the playoffs. I never participated in that ritual. So much is going to change here. So much. It's crazy going through your whole 20s after experiencing what I did with the West Coast Express and the Sedin team and Luongo to, again, not doing anything adult-like in adult settings with the Canucks in your 20s. Crazy. On that note, Japan asking, when are we going to do a watch party, Kyle? Look, I think it could happen in April, right? I think it could happen. A lot of organizing to do. We got, 4 weeks? I'm pretty sure we could get something going for game 1 or game 2. More on that later. More on that on the Discord. Where we're practicing our chemistry, right? So that when we do the live show, it ain't awkward. We're all just homies. But yeah, let's aim for game 1, and let's aim for $5 drinks and $1.25 hot dogs. I only want 2 things on the menu, okay? We'll get some veggie hot dogs too. We'll keep it simple. $5 drinks and $1.25 hot dogs. Straight up. Now let's get to this comment though, okay, Lefty? Let's talk about the games. Lindholm, -7 in 20 games on a first-place team for a defensive player. That is a fail so far. That is. It really is. And I know there's this belief that Rick Tocchet is not going to move Lindholm to the wing, even when Joshua is back. And that third line between Bluger, Garland, and Joshua is reunited because Tocchet likes it deep down the middle, right? But it's hard to picture Lindholm attempting to carry the likes of a Ilya Mikheyev or a Pius Suter and a Lafferty and a Podkolzin, and ultimately just being a player that is full of his potential. When you give up that much for a guy like that, you're not just looking for a piece of the puzzle. You're looking for one of the biggest pieces to the puzzle. And I totally believe that you need a confident and offensively gifted Elias Lindholm to take this team to the next level. I'll also add this too. I see a lot of people talking about how Lindholm can replace Bluger and be really good with Garland and Joshua, which could make sense, right? Garland and Joshua could raise Lindholm's floor, give him some confidence. Boom, bam. They're doing it. They're doing it. That being said, I really do believe that Bluger is somewhat underappreciated as being one of the main pieces of that third line that we love, right? Bluger, Garland, Joshua, the best line on this team. I know Lindholm skated well yesterday, but Bluger's ability to get in quick and be agile really makes his connectiveness to Joshua and Garland that much more important. There's a level of tenacity with that line that goes along with the skill. And I don't know if Lindholm, well, I know that Lindholm can't really do that. Look at Infamous. Look at this comment, okay? Maybe it all changes on Saturday, okay? Looking forward to the Canucks versus Calgary on Saturday. Going to be fun seeing each other's trades perform, okay? Kuzmenko, Lindholm, Zadorov. Yeah, it's going to be a big game. And maybe that's the game, right? We don't know the news. Tocchet's being a little quiet. We don't know what's going to happen. Maybe there's a 2% chance that Joshua practices tomorrow. And maybe he's on schedule to play on Saturday, thus making some changes to the lineup, and there's Lindholm getting more of a chance with skill around him. Right? Unreal. So many things going on. This team, though, definitely needs a lot more from Lindholm. A lot more. Any more comments? So many comments, man. How about this one? Popeye, man, the captain of the Discord, the guy that instills the leadership. He's written the book on leadership. Look at this comment, okay? Quit crying if they lose and just learn from it and move on. I think he's talking to me. There is always next year. Maybe this again has something to do with my cup or bust analogy, which people kind of rag me on. But look, I'm not going to be upset / pessimistic about the future of the Vancouver Canucks if they fail to win the cup this year. I won't be. No chance. I believe. That being said, I believe in the facts and the numbers and the stats and my history as a sports fan. And if I cheered for a team and was a diehard for a team that was near the top of the standings all season long, and that team happened to be the team that traded the most assets in a 12-month span for their current roster, you best believe I'm going to think it's cup or bust. Because they actually gave up a lot. They kind of went all in. And that's okay. Because again, they're at the top of the standings. And they got Quinn Hughes. Quinn Hughes, man. Going to be a lot of fun to watch this guy play over 30 minutes a game. Should we start making the shirts, okay? Quinn Hughes for the Conn Smythe. It's an evergreen shirt. Maybe I'll work on the design today here at the Don't Doze Art Lab. Hey, speaking of which, one love to them for helping us produce this conversation, this show called Locked On Canucks. One love to the network for doing their thing and instilling that culture, right? It's your team every day, a.k.a. it's your Canucks every day. Go Canucks, go. My name is Kyle Bowen. One love to our sponsors. And one love to you and you and you and you. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. It really does help us out a lot. And boom, we got a contest, okay? There's a Discord link in the bio below. Join the Discord. Subscribe to the channel. And just like that, not only do you enter a conversation with other Canucks fans who use the Discord when they're on the toilet, but there you are, getting a chance to win 2 Canucks tickets to Monday's game against the Kings. More details in the Discord, okay? Link in the bio. Again, my name's Kyle Bowen. Have a good morning, a good afternoon, a good night. If you're not watching this live, we don't know when you're listening to this, but hey, whenever you are, we really, really do appreciate it. One love, take care of your neighbors, and peace.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.